afternoon, everybody. It has been a long time since I posted my last video, I know that. And to be honest, a lot of things have happened since I last did my video. So we went to Scarborough with the dog, camping, me and my partner. That was for about 3-4 nights, I think it was. To trial it because we'd not been with the dog before. That was in start of July, so that was a good month ago now. Now is August, so we're sort of nearly at the end of August already. And yeah, there's been a lot going on. I finished my level 1 in hairdressing, which was fantastic, and so far so good. I think I've passed it, which is brilliant. On the 16th of September I actually start my level 2 hairdressing, so I will be learning how to cut and how to colour. But as well as that, because I finished so early, I've sort of managed to already learn how to cut, especially like long hair and things like that. So I've been going out and I've actually been to a couple of people's houses already and been cutting their hair. I've cut an 8-year-old's hair, or a 9-year-old should I say. I've cut my auntie's hair, my cousin's hair, my mum's hair. So I'm quite enjoying doing that. I no longer go to the Jehovah's Witness Church, or the Kingdom Hall should I say. And there's sort of numerous reasons for that really. There was quite a few things which in the end, after doing a bit of research and analysing things myself and knowing what I personally believe, because I think when we go through different spiritual journeys, so for example I've done spirituality, I've done the stones, I've done cleansing with sage, I used to have different rocks and things, and I used to meditate quite a lot as well. So when I was in that zone and I did used to meditate, I would sort of see different colours, I would feel things, and it's really hard to describe if people haven't been there already. If you have been in that moment, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But you feel like a calmness, you feel like as in the zen, so to speak, in the moment. And it's such an overwhelming kind of feeling. And I think, not just based on that, but I think, excuse me, there was a lot of things to do with like the Bible, for example, which, from when it first started, so to speak, and how over the years it's changed slightly. Now, some people in certain religions will deny this, but going back thousands of years, we know as humans, and we know that not every human, should I say, lies now and again, even little white lies. Hold my hands up, I've done it in the past. But I think particularly in religions and governments and things like that, I think there's a lot that's changed over the years and possibly been tainted to a point so that everybody follows the narrative, if that makes sense. So, for example, changing certain parts of history so that people don't know about it, people don't find out the truth, so that everybody believes one story. And I think from when the Bible originally, way back, I'm talking way back, from sort of when it originally started, deep down in my heart I do feel like there is some parts of me that believe that it has been changed over time so that people believe what certain associations want them to believe. And there was a lot for me particularly in the Kingdom Hall and from when I did my Bible studies, that sort of went into talks about life after death. And for me, it was really difficult to believe that there is nothing, absolutely nothing. This is something that Jehovah's Witnesses do believe in, that there is nothing. Once you have died, there is nothing. There's no life after death. There's no spirit world. Anything and everything that is from a spirit world is sort of evil, or like from Satan and things like that, which I don't believe. I do believe that there are certain positive spirits and stuff like that, that, you know, people have all these sort of experiences, don't they? And I do believe, like, how can everything be so evil? I don't believe it is. Everything that we hear, that we see, I don't believe everything is evil. I think there is some positive spirits out there in the world that, you know, people have positive interactions. I don't believe everything's negative. And I think with this particular religion, I feel like they all believe it's all the negative spirits and things like that, which I don't necessarily believe that. I find that hard to believe. Because you see people doing ghost hunting and things, and yeah, you know, there could be lies. You know, they say that, or in, you know, in terms of Jehovah's Witnesses, they do believe that, you know, what comes across on spirit boxes and things, it's sort of Satan and things pretending to be good so that it draws you in. But then some of them are so positive, as I say, so I can't, it is difficult to get your head around that when things are so positive. It's like with mediums, supposedly that's crossing a line, so it's like on the border. So yes, you might get some positive spirits coming through, but then supposedly it's people pretending to be good so that it draws you in to want to do it again. And as I say, I can't get my head around that. I really do feel there is something positive. I mean, there's talks about different dimensions and things, which I fully believe that is possible. I don't believe, you know, especially if there's us on this world, I don't believe we're the only ones. I believe, you know, there's possibly some other dimension or something along the lines of. People have all these talks of being reincarnated and they remember like past lives and things like that. And I believe some of that to be true, I really do. I think there's something anyway. And like I was watching a programme the other day about alternate realities, that, for example, people have experienced like dreams and things like that where they see themselves doing something completely different. There was one guy, for example, and he was married to somebody completely different, had a family. When he woke up, he was in a car accident and he dreamt this full life, which completely fascinated me. So I think there is something along the lines of like an alternate universe or something positive about it. And so for me, there's certain things going back to the Bible and things that I don't necessarily believe it all to be true. I do feel, yes, there's a God, that we have been created by something, but I don't necessarily believe that everything in this particular Bible that we have up to date now, I don't necessarily believe the whole truth of that. I just feel like somewhere along the line it has possibly been changed slightly or tainted so that we all follow that one thing in particular. Now, going back from when I last did my video, other things that have also happened. So, for example, I've gone on a fitness journey literally about 3 weeks ago. So since the start of December, I noticed I'd started putting weight on due to my perimenopause and things. And as of sort of back in June, I think it was, I noticed I'd put 2 stone on. 2 stone. And I was going on this journey of trying to lose this 2 stone. Now, as I think it's about, might even be 3 weeks ago now, I started on a health regime. So I actually joined the gym So I can now go to the gym, I can go to the classes, I do swimming 3 times, maybe 4 times a week. I do cycling twice a week. I also go to the actual gym as well, and do a lot of cardio fitness as well. And I'm on this journey to try and lose this 2 stone again. Now, I've actually been to see the GP today because I haven't been able to lose that weight, even though I'm also calorie counting as well, so I'm looking at what I'm eating completely. And one of the things, I was absolutely gobsmacked by this, because when you actually calorie count, and who actually looks at their food and what calories are in it, right? Because since I've done this, I've been gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. One slice of white bread, for example, had 146 calories, right? Which some people might think, oh, that's not a lot. But a typical woman, right, is supposed to have 2,000 calories a day. If white bread is 148 calories, and you have to say 2 slices, that's nearly like 300, well, it's probably over 300 calories. But then I had a look, so I take my children now and again, I treat them to a McDonald's. 1 plant-based burger, a hot chocolate and a medium fries, right? Them 3 items are over 1,000 calories. Yep, 1 McDonald's burger is over 500 calories. 500 calories. What is all that about? That's like nearly a quarter of your daily calories that a woman can have, right? So I was mortified. So since I've been calorie counting, there's been certain things that I've cut out, because I've noticed, for example, that things have been making my stomach swell and making it blow up a little bit. So it ends up where it's making me look pregnant, basically. And when I went to the GP today, I've told them all about this. Some of the things that was mentioned was water retention, for example. Other things that was mentioned was bloating, which she kind of ruled that out, because everything sort of, without being gross, bowel wise, is absolutely fine. So I've had this allergy test done today. So I've had a blood test, and they're going to test me for different allergies. So, for example, I've cut out bread, I've cut out pasta, I've cut out potatoes, because them 3 things in particular I've noticed make my tummy swell after eating them. And this is something that can happen within perimenopause and menopause, is that your diet can actually change, and the food that we eat has changed over time. So especially from when sort of I was growing up and things, all the food that we eat nowadays has changed. So there's a lot more preservatives in there, there's a lot more additives in there, there's more sweeteners in there. So one of the things is like stevia, for example, which is like a sweetener alternative to sugar, and sucrose, and there's a few other different things, but they can actually do more harm than good. So one of the things that we're actually trialling is to see if I'm allergic to any of these things, see if there's anything that is sort of setting my stomach off, for example, and go from there, basically. And yeah, so hopefully we might be able to get down to the solution. So it just sort of shocked me, because I have sort of, in the past, I've had a phantom pregnancy, which most people will be like, what is that? So a phantom pregnancy is basically when your body actually goes through pregnancy, but there is no baby. So your stomach can swell. There's been reports of women that have actually almost like gone into labour, but obviously there's nothing to give birth to. So they've had like labour pains and things like that. Luckily mine didn't go so far along, but I did get the big tummy and everything, and I didn't have a period throughout this, which was so strange. And I have to say, I was absolutely gutted about it. Now that was probably about 2-3 years ago now, but they've ruled that out. I've been on fertility drugs, which I did get off the internet, which I'll actually put in the link below because it's an absolutely fantastic company. And what this actually did, so because I was going through this perimenopause stage and my cycle was sort of, I'd be on for 2 days, I would then go sometimes 33 days without having anything. Then my body would, say for example, start again 22 days, sometimes even 19 days break, and then I'd come on for 2 days again. And since I've been on these drugs, so I've been on these for probably about 5 months, 6 months, something like that. And since I've been on them, I now have regular cycles. So I now have the normal 28-day cycle and 4 days on, which I haven't had that for a long, long time. So these particular vitamins or supplements, as I'll call them, they have everything from copper, magnesium, zinc, iron. Because one of the other things that I did find out, which was a few months ago, was that I have anemia. So I'm now on, I've forgotten what you call it now. It's a type of medication anyway, which is high iron content. So I'm on that as well. And altogether it's really sorted my body out. So it's just, literally I've been getting my fitness back together again and finding me again. So although I felt like I'd found me, I think there was a lot of flaws within the particular religion, should I say, that I was going through. Particular time for me was sort of finding out, but it was, for me, it was the wrong path. And so these few weeks I've been sort of learning to find myself again, learning about to trust my heart really, rather than just look at things and believe it and think, right, yeah, this is word. Because obviously, as I said, humans in particular, we all, nearly, we all sort of lie about different things, you know, whether it's a little white lie and things. But I think over the years in particular, I think there's been many generations that sort of feel this as well, that hopefully I don't get penalised for saying this, but that governments change things in order for everybody to believe the narrative, so to speak. Max is still crazy as ever, hasn't changed at all. So yeah, so, and I think that's where, you know, as I said, I found the flaws and I felt it wasn't right for me. So I am still in touch with quite a few of the brothers and sisters and things, and I do still believe, you know, some of their values. So for example, not fighting in wars, I understand that part, you know, because it's not, you know, it's not right in my eyes to kill people. It's not right to harm anybody. You know, we should all be love and peace. And, you know, if I could be that happy hippie from the 70s, I would be. But yeah, you know, and I do believe that there should be no harming of anybody and everybody. But I understand, you know, money, power, things happen over years and times, don't they? You know, there's a lot of secrets, there's a lot of things we're never going to know, and we're never going to find out the truth, I don't ever think. I think there's always going to be some lie down the line, or, you know, encouraging us all to think a certain way and believe a certain thing. I think that's always going to be the case. But yeah, so as I said, you know, finding myself again, just being a bit more relaxed with myself as well. So, you know, I do feel like I've lost a little bit, but I still feel like I've got the mum's tum, which I need to get rid of. And so yeah, so I'm doing length swimming. This week I've done it, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, last Sunday, so 5 days a week I've been length swimming. And so I do about 50 lengths every time that I go. And so I also have been cycling, so I've been doing something called the trip, which sounds worse than what it is, but in actual fact it's been brilliant because it's a virtual screen that comes down. And if you can imagine like Mario Kart or like Sonic, and you've got like a glittery, sparkly sort of road or path, but then you've got like mountains and rivers and things like that. It's all on a virtual screen, and you're basically doing the spin centre or cycling on a stationary bike with the screen in front of you. And it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. I really enjoy it. It's something different, and it's something for me personally I can't do at home. And I think it encourages you as well. So when you have those incentives there, it's really good. The other thing, I'll hold my hands up and say I've never ever been to a gym before this. So I actually got shown last week with another lady, thank goodness, how to use some of the equipment at the gym, what is going to work for me, what is going to help me. So I was doing a little bit of cardio, and I was also on the treadmill as well, because some of the treadmills, particularly the gym that I go to, it can go on an incline, so it can go on a bit of a hill. And although I can walk here within the woods, it's all pretty flat, and so sort of on the incline and things, I can just put my earpods in, listen to music with a bit of a beat, and I can just go at it for probably an hour. Excuse me. So yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. It's given me that boost. It's given me my energy back, to be honest with you. So back in the day when I was younger, and I used to dance 4-5 times a week, self-taught. And because of the foot operations that I had at one point, throughout the years, it sort of stopped me from being able to do that. And I think I lost my confidence to do that again. Whereas now, I also do the dog walking now and again, not as often now. But yeah, and I've still got my cleaning business that is going busy, really busy, to the point where I am full. I do keep taking sneaky people on now and again. I've also got another customer who I used to have 10 years ago when I first ever had my business, and I had another cleaning business back then, and they've come back to me and they've welcomed me with open arms and basically said, we are so happy to have you as part of our family again, which is so lovely to hear. And to be honest, with the franchise, I'm still working with that as well, so I'm still doing a couple of those cleans, I think about 11 hours in total for them. And one of the things that the owner or the boss has said of that company is that there's one family in particular which I have been cleaning for probably about a month now, and she said I'm out of 5 people, I'm the only one that she's never complained about, which I've got gold stars for that, so I'm really happy. And I was really happy as well because another one from the franchise as well, who I sort of do every fortnight for about 3 hours, and they were sort of saying to me that they basically put a fantastic review about me on Google, and because of that I ended up where I got myself earned myself a £20 clothing voucher, so I was really happy, or love to shop voucher should I say. So I'm still umming and ahhing as to what to get with that, but no doubt for me, like I said to somebody else, I'll probably end up spending it on the kids, to be honest with you, and those early Christmas presents. But yeah, money's coming in now and I've sort of been a lot happier, and you know, I don't feel like I'm struggling anymore. I feel like I'm coping. So I'm really enjoying that, and within the next couple of weeks as well, so at the end of the month, a week before the end of the holidays, we are going camping in York, which I absolutely love York. Such a medieval history city, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I could live in York, I really could. So yeah, so we're camping at a place called Wagtails, if anybody's heard of it. And so that should be fun. So I'm going to be hopefully documenting, that didn't sound right. Hopefully doing a few videos anyway to show you what that looks like and how that is here and here. And yeah, going through a few of those as well, and sort of showing you different places as well, as and when I can. We're hopefully going to the Jorvik Centre and hopefully York Dungeons again. Although the price has steeped up, really steeped up. And while we're talking about price as well, there's been a lot of things, especially on YouTube and the internet, about people complaining of price, and too right as well, because I went, for example, with my daughter for a meal, and it was just for a pint of Coke and one J2O, it came to £7.49, and I was like, is that the right price? And she was like, yeah, that's right price. And I'm like, £7 for that. I remember when like J2Os were like £1 something, right? And a pint of Coke, I mean, you could probably get a bottle of Coke for the price that I paid in this restaurant. And in the end, for 2 starters and 2 mains and 4 drinks, because I ended up getting another round of those, £30 over. Well, it were over just over £30 for me and my 16-year-old daughter. I was mortified. That's like a meal out, or what used to be a meal out. So I was mortified. So I was like, yeah, we're not going there again. But it's really shocking how badly things are going up in price, and I really do feel sorry for a lot of people, because there are so many people getting ripped off nowadays. I mean, it's like a pint now. How much is a pint in your area? But I know certain places it's like over £6. £6. I remember when I was 18, and I remember going out with my friends, and we did something called Bottle Heaven. So we went to it wasn't necessarily a nightclub, it was just a club. Nightclub to me is like disco lights, fog machines and laser lights and everything, and really hard dance music. This was just a club, so you had like your pop hits and things like that, and it was set out like a western bar. So Jumping Jacks, if anybody remembers that, in Huddersfield. And they did something called Bottle Heaven. So it used to be, you paid, I think it was £10. It might have even been £5. And for the full hour, so like 8 till 9, I think it was, you took back your empty VK bottle to the bar, you had it refilled for an hour. You could repeatedly do this. And I remember to the point one day we were a bit sneaky, and we sort of must have taken about 5 or 6 bottles that were empty from other people's tables, took them all up to the bar, and it ended up within this hour. We probably had a few more than that, but we had 22 bottles of filled alcohol, right? Which isn't something I'm proud of now, right? But at the time, I'm just going off expense. Imagine how much each one of those would have costed. Nowadays, 1 VK, you're probably talking about £3 something, depending. Some places it's more, and I'm like, wow, 22 bottles. That would have costed us a fortune. But now it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And some people, I understand, are justifying it. They're sort of, these are prices that were paid. Or nowadays, this is what they cost. But why has it increased so much? Why has the cost of living increased so much? Why do you think people are complaining? It's ridiculous to say that wages aren't matching that, particularly in Britain as well. And we have so many things going on in the UK nowadays. It's just, if I had my way, I wouldn't live here, I'll be honest with you. It's not something I would it's not a country I'd recommend people to come and live. Although there are some absolutely fantastically beautiful sites. But I do feel the UK government is just pants, is the nice way to put it. That is definitely a nice way of putting it, because I'd have a lot more words that wouldn't be pants. They'd be a lot worse than pants, to be honest with you. But yeah, hey ho. Let's not get this video taken down. So yeah, I don't know what it's like in your country, but I think there's a lot which needs to change, and I think to some degree I think it's all planned. I think they know what they're doing. They've done it on purpose. That's how I feel sometimes, that it's all planned out for us and this is the agenda. A lot of it's common sense, to be honest, and the governments just don't get it, particularly UK government anyway. Some days I feel like I wish we had a Trump over here, if you know what I mean by that. We need something strong to help build this economy, not tear it down, and I don't feel it's going in the right direction at all lately. But from what I did when I went going back to the camping adventure that I had with Max and the dog, so hopefully, I think I've still got that, so I will upload that after this video and show you what that was like, because Spring Willows it was called, and it was literally, I think Scarborough was about 5 minutes away. We went to Unmanby's Beach, which is a dog-friendly beach, and had a lovely, lovely breakfast there and things. Hi, Max. Hello, hello. And it was absolutely amazing. It was a fantastic, fantastic holiday. Yeah, you wanting to be in the video, are you? Hey. Hello, you. Yes, Maxie. Yes. And yeah, it was just an absolute fantastic holiday, and I think it worked with him as well. The first night that we did stay there, it was terrifying because it was so windy, and literally the tent sounded like it was being battered. But it was one of those, we just had to plod through it. We weren't going home, and Max was terrified, to put it politely. He was absolutely terrified. So we had a double airbed, and a couple of times he tried jumping up on this airbed. He wouldn't settle. We really didn't get a lot of sleep that first night that we were there. It was very, very hard. The second night wasn't too bad. I think he'd sort of got used to it slightly with that. But as well, particularly the third day as well, it was very, very warm, and we underestimated the weather as well, because we actually went to Scarborough with him. So we went for a walk on the beach, for example, when we found a dog-friendly beach, that is, because quite a lot of beaches within Scarborough, we were quite surprised actually, because it was deceiving when we went on Google and it sort of said, yes, there's dog-friendly beaches in Scarborough, but to be honest, there's not that many at all. So when we went and took him, it was very, very hard, because there was just no places. Everywhere had dog signs saying no dogs on the beach. So it kind of put us off a little bit, but at the same time we had fish and chips there, and it was so busy, very, very busy, which wasn't a bad thing. We were still able to walk. And I was able to sort of look in a few shops and things like that, but it was obviously very difficult because we can't take Max in them. we couldn't necessarily go in the amusements. Some of them we could, but it was just for him, it was very, very noisy and a bit disruptive, and he was obviously becoming a little bit unsettled with that, not being used to it before. So, but yeah, overall it was really, really good, and I definitely recommend it. So Spring Willows caravan camping site in Scarborough is definitely, give it a 9 out of 10 to be honest, because they've got an on-site pub there as well, and to be honest it wasn't too bad. So I had I'd say a pint of strawberry and lime cider, and the partner had a pint of, I've forgotten what beer it is now, it was like a Belgian beer, and it came to about roughly £6 something for both of them, so that wasn't too bad. So we had probably about 2 or 3 each, and then slowly walked back, which it was literally a 2-3 minute walk back to the tent again. And the facilities, which on Google they don't always have fantastic reviews, but I don't know what people expect when they're camping. For us, it's back to basics, you know, it's common sense that not everything is going to smell great necessarily, you know, you're out in sticks. For us it was clean, very, very clean. It wasn't the smelliest, you know, it wasn't particularly, there was no bad smells or anything in there, you know, it was all clean. Yes, there was a hand dryer that wasn't working, but I'm not going to complain about that, to be honest. It was like a porta cabin. The wash facilities were there, there was hot showers. So, yeah, for us, it was definitely, as I say, high 8s at least. And the walks were just fantastic. So everything is laid out for dogs, so you can go on fantastic walks. And although we did go on one, it was a very, 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 very steep hill. And I'm talking like that, right? We were shattered by the time we got to the top of the hill. Max loved it, of course, he could have carried on. But yeah, once you get to the top of the hill, when you are there, there's like a RAF base. I think it's an RAF, it said, RAF base. Like a listening base, and yeah, it was really good. You know, you couldn't go on the base, but you could walk past it and things like that. And managed to get a couple of cabbage leaves and that, because there's a field full of them, and it's just beautiful. It really was beautiful. It was so scenic. You could see Scarborough in the distance and Fireley at the other side, and you could see the ocean very far out as well. But it was amazing. And as you'll see hopefully in some of the pictures and one of the videos that I'll pop up as well, is that we actually watched the sun going down one night. So a couple of the other campers as well walked up the hill to where we were, because we were the only ones at the top of this hill as well, which you'll see on the photos. But they all came to the top of the hill, and we all watched and stood there in awe watching this sunset. And you'll see the sun going down, and it's such a deep orange. It's absolutely stunning. And that really made it. So if you want a romantic place, for example, to go camping, I'd definitely recommend that. Even if you haven't got a dog, I'd definitely recommend going there just for the scenes. Because even the sunrise was amazing to see. And because it was summer, it was sort of coming up probably about 4:45 in the morning. But I was up, you know, it was nice, and you had benches nearby the tent as well, so you could go and sit there. It wasn't overly cold, and you could just watch it coming up, and it was absolutely stunning. But yeah, so we're going to Wagtails this time, and as I say, again, I'll do some more videos as well, and hopefully I'm going to get back on track again and do some more of these videos. So if you do like what I've said so far and you would like to see more content, particularly like of different places as well that you can go camping, let me know in the comments below. And if you have stayed with my journey, even though I haven't been there for a few weeks or a month or so, thank you ever so much for sticking by me. And you know, sometimes it's a bit like friendships really. So you have so many friends, but you don't always get to see each other because you have busy lives. And I guess for me, that's one of the things that happens, is that I've just been busy building up my business so that I'm absolutely full. You know, I'm earning a really good wage at the end of the month and things, and I'm now comfortable. And I'm also up to date with everything as well, paperwork wise, so you know, I'm managing to do all that. And yeah, level 2 hairdressing in September, so I'm looking forward to that as well, and I'm really enjoying cutting people's hair as well. So I've also, I don't think I mentioned this in the last video because it sort of didn't crop up, but I have a friend as well who owns a hairdressing salon who is eventually wanting to retire and also has a spare hairdressing chair, and has literally said, once I'm qualified, the chair's mine. And by the looks of it, guys, that, you know, she's going to help to train me, help me to practice as well, the things that I need to practice. That is such a fantastic opportunity. It really is. Where that stands in terms of my cleaning business, I really don't know yet, but I'm really looking forward to that, and particularly the journey as well. So learning to study, I think it's going to be difficult because cutting and colouring, I can see that being easier in some ways. Colouring, I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I know I'll learn. You know, eventually it'll all fall in place and I'll understand what I'm doing. And yeah, so I enrol at the end of the month on the 1st of September. So I go back to college and go through the whole process again, even though I've got my badge of signing up for level 2, which they have said I'm guaranteed a place. And yeah, so things are going really good. I haven't really shown you a lot of the woods right now, but as you can see, everything is still lush and green. I think there are quite a few things now at the moment which are starting to change. There's quite a few leaves that are starting to gradually turn. So I think you can sort of tell we're pretty much coming to the end of summer. I don't like usually saying that or jinxing it, but some of the conkers have been coming up already, which a lot of people have said is very, very early. There has been a lot of, I think a lot of them have sort of died away now, but a lot of the blackberries, they've come out early and they're sort of dying away a bit now. We have a place which, there's a tree around the corner, actually around the other side of the forest, and it's a mini plum tree. So it had hundreds upon hundreds of these plums, and I'll actually put a picture up in this video. We actually picked loads. We had a full bowl full of these mini plums, and we did a plum and apple crumble, which was absolutely delicious. And it was a lot of calories, but yeah, it came within my daily allowance, so I managed to knock a few things off in order to have that. So now and again I do treat myself, but yeah, I've stopped having potatoes, crisps, I don't have any more. Chocolate has gone out of the window. Although I did slightly have a mini packet of Cadbury's mini eggs today, which they're not good calories either. I haven't sort of included them today. But, and as well, I've managed to get myself a brand new smartwatch as well. So the Samsung Galaxy F3, I think it's called, which is so accurate. If you're looking for a smartwatch, this, for me, I recommend this one, because especially when I go swimming, it literally does accurately count the lengths that I'm doing. How it knows, I have no idea, but it does. And it also does my cycling as well, so there's quite a few. It's also got like the treadmill on there as well, so particularly when I'm going to the gym I can also record what I've done. So there's quite a few things, like sport wise and things, common ones as well. It also does cardio on there as well, so you can record that. So this also helps as well, just so that I can keep an accurate record, well, as accurate as possible, of the calories that I'm burning and what my heart rate is. Because when I stopped smoking in January, because yes, I am still not smoking either, so 7 months I've done, 8 months I've done without smoking now, which is why my energy's come back as well. But yeah, my heart rate when I was going for a walk and things was like 180 still. And since probably about 3-4 months ago, I've actually got it down to, what is it now? So 96 after a walk. I know I've been sat down a little bit, but sometimes if I'm like on the treadmill, it'll go to like 120, which is a really good heart rate supposedly. So, but yeah, it helps me to accurately record those and just give me an idea really as to my fitness. So it helps me to keep track and things. And if you remember the field where the sheep were, you can see now over these last couple of months since I've last done the video, it's really overgrown. The farmer does still have the sheep, but I think they're sort of right at the top of the field now. They're not sort of down at the bottom anymore. Right guys, whew, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and hopefully I shall do another video soon. Thank you for watching. If you do get to watch this video, thank you for keeping up to me and for still being around, and subscribe if you can, because you know, it's nice to be able to just be myself, and sometimes it's nice just to watch normal people, if that makes sense. And although I'm a bit crazy at times, I am pretty normal, I would like to think. So yeah, take care guys, have a brilliant weekend, and I shall see you all soon. Bye.